So anyone who's worked in, heavy industry, oil and gas, utilities, manufacturing, that kind of thing, you know the feeling. That sort of silent, grinding effort of moving big, heavy pipes and hoses around. It's not just lifting heavy stuff. It's the awkward grips. Maybe busted knuckles, those back-straining lifts that just, well, they add up. It seems basic, but it's full of these hidden costs, these hazards. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into what looks like a really ingenious, maybe deceptively simple solution. It's designed to kind of revolutionize how these big industrial pipes and hoses get handled. They're called handle tech handles.
That's right. And our mission here really is to pull out the key insights from the source material we've got on these tools. We're going to unpack how what seems like a pretty straightforward idea, an innovation, can actually lead to some really significant tangible benefits. We're talking safety, efficiency, and cost savings, especially for those demanding operations in various sectors. You'll see how one smart upgrade can genuinely make a difference, right there on the front lines where the work actually happens.
Okay, let's get into this. The material we've been looking at, it paints a pretty stark picture, doesn't it, of that daily struggle for the crews on the ground. It really highlights these ongoing issues, pain, injuries, that constant downtime, and just the way productivity gets drained. Lost time, lost effort. The way it puts it is, if you're still using those old cumbersome methods for moving pipes or hoses, you're basically just bleeding money, morale, and man hours for no good reason. It really positions Handle Tech not just as another tool, but, well, more like a strategic move for safety managers and procurement folks.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is how the documentation flips the script right away. It doesn't just talk about it as equipment. No, it frames Handle Tech as a direct shortcut to safer, more productive workforces. It describes these handles as tough, but surprisingly lightweight. They're designed to clamp securely onto pipes and hoses from, 2 inches up to 12 inches in diameter, right? And with a pretty impressive lifting capacity, 400 pounds. Now, for anyone in the field, that range, 2 to 12 inches, that immediately signals, how versatile it is. It covers a huge range of common sizes, small utility lines, right up to heavy industrial stuff. And the design itself, it directly tackles those common nasty issues like crushed fingers, really awkward body movements, and those dangerous slip and drop hazards. The whole idea seems to be enabling crews to grab, lift, drag, position these heavy sections much faster, basically, while keeping hands, backs, feet well clear of the danger zone.
Yeah, and it's not just about brute force lifting capacity, is it? I mean, the source material really digs into the engineering behind them. It keeps mentioning ergonomic design, specifically engineered for, natural neutral wrist positions. And that sounds critical for getting rid of those horrible pinch points that crush fingers or those, knuckle-busting grips that just lead to constant scrapes and strains. Plus, there's a big focus on high-visibility safety, bright colors. Which makes sense, ensuring the gear and the worker are easy to see. That directly cuts down the risk of trips or crush accidents. But here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. This claim that it's the ultimate time saver. The process is described as just clamp on, move, and unclamp. It's done in seconds, not minutes. My first thought was, okay, how much time can a handle really save? But the way the source explains it, it starts to click, doesn't it?
Precisely. That seconds, not minutes thing, it's not just hyperbole when you think about the cumulative effect. The documentation, maybe implicitly, highlights that for big industrial sites, where you might have hundreds of these pipe or hose moves every single day. Well, those seconds saved on each move, they don't just add up to a few minutes here and there. They can translate into finishing projects earlier, cutting down on overtime costs, and ultimately a real boost in operational throughput, which, hits the bottom line, revenue. And building on that safety and efficiency point for the worker, the source then kind of shifts gears, right? Starts spelling out the huge financial side of things for the company, the cost of not using something like this. It points out that sprains, strains, cuts, back injuries, these are major cost centers in industry, big expenses. It even brings up OSHA, noting that musculoskeletal injuries are among the most expensive workplace claims, which obviously hit safety budgets, drives up insurance rates. Handle Tech is presented as a way to attack those costs directly. Key safety features mentioned include workers never having to actually touch the pipe or hose itself. That keeps them clear of pinch points, impact zones. And it helps with two-handed, balanced lifting, keeping the spine safer. Anyone who's seen a bad back injury knows that's a cost you desperately want to avoid. Plus, it's apparently industry proven. Used in oil fields, refineries, chemical plants, utilities globally.
So it sounds like a whole system then. The material outlines the original hose handle, that's for hoses, 2 to 12 inches, up to 400 pounds. Then there's the pipe handle, specifically for rigid pipes, ensuring a secure, slip-free grip. They even mention a safety lock assembly kit for extra security, stopping accidental release under load, and spare handles for backup. It really sounds like a comprehensive approach to hands-free safety. Did the source material mention any potential drawbacks? Or maybe situations where handle tech isn't the best fit? Because, let's be honest, no tool is perfect for everything.
That's a really important question for a proper deep dive, yeah. The source material, well, as you might expect, it really focuses on the benefits. It positions handle tech as a definite step up from manual handling. It doesn't explicitly list limitations, no. But by emphasizing that universal fit across different materials, rubber, metal, composite, and that wide size range, it sort of implies it's aiming to cut down on the need for lots of different single-purpose tools, which is a common headache in the industry, having too many specialized things. The return on investment, the ROI, is highlighted as hitting hard and fast. The documents cite field studies showing that 50% plus time reduction we talked about, cutting transfer times from minutes down to seconds, that's significant, and it reports fewer injuries, fewer claims. Apparently, field reports showed such a drop in incidents, like dropped pipes and sprains, that safety auditors take notice immediately. And to maximize that ROI, like we said, there's that universal fit, clamping onto almost any material, rubber, metal, composite from 2 to 12 inches, so companies aren't wasting money on lots of single-sized tools. The source also gets into the practical stuff for procurement teams. Mentions wholesale pricing, getting expertise direct from the distributor, official status ensuring factory support, and having inventory ready for quick shipping. It aims to be a full package solution.
Okay, so bringing this all together then, what we've really seen from the source material is how these handle tech handles directly target those core problems: the pain, the injuries, the downtime, lost productivity. They seem to offer a genuinely smarter, safer, and actually much faster way to move these industrial pipes and hoses. It feels like taking a task that's common, difficult, and often costly, and just making it fundamentally better.
Absolutely. I think this deep dive really shows that investing in smart design, ergonomic features, the high visibility stuff, tools with specific impressive capacities like that 2 to 12-inch range and the form-bound lift, it can lead to really concrete results. We're talking that verified 50% plus time reduction, fewer injuries, fewer claims, things that directly hit a company's bottom line and seriously improve its safety record. And that universal fit across materials, rubber, metal, composite that just maximizes the value, makes it super adaptable for different industrial settings.
So, what does this all mean for you listening in? Maybe challenge yourself to think about this. The biggest breakthroughs, they aren't always in some huge, complex, groundbreaking technology that needs a massive overhaul. Often, the most powerful innovations are actually in cleverly simplifying and refining the fundamental everyday tasks. Think about how even seemingly small, smart solutions like this, used in routine operations, can actually ripple outwards, how they can create really massive improvements in safety, efficiency, and yeah, even profitability right across an entire industry. Something to think about.